Hello beta, how are you? I am Rahul Pandey and today I will teach you third chapter of your English supplementary book class 8 The Selfish Giant part number 1. Okay beta. So in the first part we will discuss that the giant's garden was beautiful and children loved to play in it. The giant who was selfish built a high wall round his lovely garden. Children did not enter the garden thereafter, nor did spring and summer till the giant experienced a change of heart. In the first paragraph, just see every afternoon as they were coming from school, the children used to go and play in giant's garden. So, in the first paragraph, once upon a time there was a giant's garden, and in the city means when the students used to return from their school, they used to play in the giant's garden daily. It was a large, lovely garden with soft green grass. Here and there over the grass stood beautiful flowers like stars. And the author, okay, Ruskin Bond, told us that means the condition of the giant's garden was very good. It was a very beautiful garden. Okay, there were many grasses and flowers seems like stars, and there were 12 peach trees. Okay, and in the springtime broke out into delicate blossoms of pink and pearl, and in the autumn bore rich fruit. And in the springtime, lots of flowers used to bloom in the giant's garden, and in the autumn time, lots of rich fruits used to produce in the giant's garden's tree. So, and the author also told us that the birds sat on the trees and sang so sweetly that the children used to stop their games in order to listen to them. And whenever the children used to play in the giant's garden, so at that time, when the birds start to chirping there, the students, okay, the children used to become very fascinated, and stopping their games, the children used to listen the chirping sound of the bird. And they also discussed among them that how happy we are here. They cried to each other, and really, according to the author, the children were very happy there. One day, what happened? The giant came back. Oh, the giant came back. He had been to visit his friend, the Cornish ogre, and had stayed with him for 7 years. And the author told us that one day the selfish giant returned his village. Okay, and the author told us that means he had been visit his friend, and the name of his friend was Cornish. He went his friend Cornish house, and he stayed there near about 7 years. Yes, and when the selfish giant returned his village, oh, what he saw! He saw that there were many children, and they were playing in the garden of the giant. Seeing this situation, he was very selfish. That is why he became very angry. He asked, "Hello, what are you doing here?" He cried in a very gruff voice, and the children ran away. When he cried very gruff voice, the children feared so much. That is why the children ran away from there. So, dear students, then just see, this is the selfish giant figure, and all the childrens are running. Okay, after listening his gruff voice, he said, "My own garden is my own garden," said the giant. "Anyone can understand that, and I will allow nobody to play in it but myself." The giant said that, "Hello, children, it is my garden. I am the owner of this garden. How dare you to come to enter inside my garden. Okay, and now understood very well that from today onwards nobody will enter inside my garden. Okay, and only I have authority to enter inside my garden. That is why the author told us that. So he built a high wall all around it. Means he arranged a boundary, okay, around his garden and put up a notice board. And what he wrote in the notice board: trespassers will be prosecuted. Means when anyone will try to enter crossing the boundary of my garden, so at that particular time the person who will do it, he will be get punishment by me. Really, he was very selfish giant. The poor children had now nowhere to play, okay, and they cried to play on the road, but the road was very dusty and full of hard stones, and they did not like it. And when the children saw the boundary around the garden, okay, they became so sad. Oh, when on the second day, when they returned from their school, at that time, near the garden, they started to play on the road. But dear students, you know very well that what is the condition of the road? Oh my God! Means the road was very dusty and lots of hard stones were lying on the road. That is why when the children were playing, okay, the pebbles were pinching on their tender legs. That is why they did not like to play near the road. They used to wander around the high walls when their lessons were over. Whenever they were returning from their from their school, they were wandering around the high walls and they talk about the beautiful garden inside. Means memorizing their past time, they began to talk among themselves that what was the beautiful day whenever, means how happy we were there. They say to each other what a time it was when we used to return from our school, and at the time of returning, okay, at evening, we used to come from our houses and we used to play here. Okay, what was the beautiful day. But now it was a very huge boundary around the my garden. That is why the children were very sad. Then what happened? The spring came, and all over the country there were little blossoms and little birds. Only in the garden of the selfish giant it was still winter. Means the spring season came, but in the giant's garden it was still winter, and the birds were chirping in all the parts of the country, but there were not a single birds chirping, okay, near the giant's garden, and the trees forgot to blossom. Oh, and once a small flower came outside, but what happened when the flower saw there were no children? Again it disappeared. Really, only snow and frost, okay, was covered the whole garden of the selfish giant, and spring has forgotten this garden. That is why they cried, oh, so we will live here all the year round. The snow covered up the grass with her great white cloak, and the frost painted all the trees silver. Then they invited the north wind to stay with them. After frost, okay, what happened? The frost invited the wind also, and both started to live together in the selfish giant's garden. Oh, really, now the selfish giant was very, very sad, and he began to wonder that why it is happening only with me. Okay, and he was very foolish. He was not understanding that why it is happening. Okay, students, and do you know, and once, means one day he was lying in his bed, and he began to listen the sound of a linnet bird. When he went immediately and he saw that there was a linnet bird, okay, who was sitting in the in his garden on the tree, and in that part there were a spring season. And really the giant became so glad, and he hoped that means slowly and slowly now the spring season will also come in my garden, okay. And he jumped very he jumped very happily to see that now the spring season has also came in my garden. So dear students, it was the end of the first part, the selfish giant, written by Ruskin Bond, okay. And this is the comprehension check question, dear students. 1 2 3 4 5 questions. You will do it in your homework copy, and tomorrow I will teach you the second part, okay dear students. So beta, keep learning and keep practicing.